This is my trombone talking techniques blog for April 6th, 2023. My son is home from school, of course, and we went to see the new Mario film. Yeah, he was entertained, and he really loved it, of course. My favorite scenes, of course, is when Bowser sits at the piano and starts pining over the princess. I thought that was really funny. Boy, I won't spoil it for you if you haven't seen it already. Very funny, very, very, very funny part. But other than that, I listened to more Toshiko Kiyoshi today while I was in the car, because I wasn't in the car that much. But continue practicing. My high D's exercises, lip slurs up to high D, are starting to get better, but still needs a lot more work. And my high F's are starting to pop out much better. So it's very encouraging. I improvise played a little bit more. My shoulder is still doing really well. I'm definitely going to start recording some music for you and put it on there. Another thing that I haven't mentioned is I have a couple books already on Amazon, and I am in the process of editing down final edit of another book, sort of like my memoirs. It's called Celebrity Encounters of the Third Kind. I wonder where I stole that from. And throughout my many years of playing, since my first celebrity encounters when I was like 10 years old until recently, I've got more than 50 chapters in the book. Funny stories about some, one of them really disgusting. And not all musical celebrities, some actors also, and composers, arrangers, famous musicians, and my stories about meeting them. So I hopefully we'll be publishing that soon. So subscribe and click the bell and like my videos, please, so you'll be informed. I'll also announce my next book release, and I'm going to try and put links to my already two published books. One of them is about immigration, because my father was an illegal alien, and the other one is about autobiography. I didn't write it, but I published it, of my great-great-grandmother, who was a religious leader around the late 19th century into the 20th century. Her and her husband, she married a monk. Of course, he left the clergy before they got married, or else I wouldn't be here. And her story is fascinating. She was also into music and religion, and she was a writer. She wrote for the New York Times under a name. Of course, at that time, women weren't allowed to be published in the New York Times, so her most famous work, publishing articles. She wrote many articles in many different newspapers, was for the New York Times for Lincoln's second inaugural ball. The editor of the New York Times sent her to Washington to cover this, and the article is amazing, and it was so amazing, of all the articles, that President Lincoln invited her to the White House because he wanted to meet the author of this, and he didn't realize she was a woman. And here in comes a woman who actually wrote that article, and he was very impressed with her. And she was about to leave for Europe, and he gave her letters to give to the dignitaries of Europe to get help for the civil war that was raging at the time. And then only a short while after that, history, and he was assassinated, which she was devastated by that. Okay, another day. Oh, I'm almost ready to publish my second lesson. So subscribe.